Pastor Roy Gerhardt from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. Miracles. Do you believe in miracles? Do you believe that God answers prayer? That God can provide for us in ways that violate the laws of nature? A lot of people don't. Many people think that the world is just a set of natural circumstances and that if things work out well for you, it's just an accident of coincidence, just a little bit of good luck coming your way. But I believe that God is working in our life in unique ways that will stand out and will demonstrate to us that He is present and that He cares for us and that we can turn to Him. When we think about the life of Elijah, we see miracle after miracle happening. He prayed and it stopped raining for 3.5 years. He prayed and it rained again. During the time of that drought that ensued, God provided for him in many unique ways. First, He sent him to the right place, to a place where a brook would continue to flow for a time. There, He provided for him with food that was flown in twice a day by ravens. Then, when the brook did dry up, He sent him to a widow who had enough flour and oil to make one last meal for herself and her son. But when Elijah asked her to trust the Lord and to go ahead and make him a loaf of bread before making her own, well, God blessed her and provided so that even though there was never any more flour or oil added to her supply, it never ran out. And to top it all off, when her son suddenly died, Elijah was able to pray and God gave him back to her alive, resurrecting her son. All of these are phenomenal miracles. And you may think, well, that's just all in the past. But you know something? In the New Testament, in the book of James, in chapter 5, we're told that we need to recognize that Elijah was just an ordinary man like any of us. That the power didn't rest with him, but with God and with his connection with God. So we can look for God to work in our lives in many of these same ways. That we can pray and God will answer prayers. Now, does God answer every prayer that we speak just the way we ask it? Well, no. We ask for things that no one should say yes to. But there's also those times whenever God does not answer a prayer the way that we were hoping. And it's heartbreaking. Truly heartbreaking. And it will leave us wondering if God really cares. But just because God doesn't answer all of our prayers doesn't mean that He doesn't answer any, and it doesn't negate the fact that He does. That He, in fact, answers prayers in ways that are so clearly someone asked, God answered, and it's perfectly connected, that we just can't deny that. You know, recently my daughter shared how a miscarriage left her in a terrible crisis of grief that directed a great deal of anger at God for a period of time, until a friend encouraged her to think of God crying along with us, as He did with people as He ministered here in this world. And that allowed her to open up her heart to God, and a comfort and a grace from God entered in that blessed her in ways that she really could not have imagined. You see, in our prayer life, we need to not just seek for what we want, but seek to know God. And opening up our lives to God will allow God to answer our needs in ways that will absolutely blow our minds, but will be the most marvelous answer to prayer that we could ever imagine. On top of that, when we let God lead us in our lives, He will lead us, just as He did Elijah, to the right place, the right time, to connect with people and circumstances in a way that He can then bless us through avenues that we never saw coming. Years ago, my wife and I were blessed to go and visit our older daughter when she was serving as a missionary in Lithuania. Now, we had decided there was no way we would ever be able to afford that. We weren't even asking God for it. And then God brought circumstances together between us and another couple so that they stepped up and offered to buy our tickets to send us there. God is able to step in and do those kinds of blessings that absolutely blow my mind, so that over and over again I recite Ephesians 3:20, that God can do exceedingly abundantly more than all we ask or imagine. And on top of that, God has a way of extending even the resources that we possess in ways that we can't even fathom how. I've known so many people who share the testimony of beginning to give to God, to tithe, give a tenth of their income, even in times whenever it seems impossible. And yet, God has provided for them so that they never missed it. It's as if it was never really lost from their income at all. God has this amazing way of blessing us in all of these different fronts. And just to make sure that we don't write that all off as just a bit of coincidence, every now and then God will throw in a miracle that is so outstanding that, like the resurrection of that son, well, God will raise us up in faith in ways that can never be snuffed out. But his life will be in us, and we will hope and trust in him. May God bless you today, and as you share his good news, may God make you a blessing wherever he takes you.